Namaste, beloveds. This is Valerie Ames, also known as Mother with Wisdom. This is like the third try of this video. Um, I apologize for the lighting. It is evening time, so excuse me. It's also May 1st, 2022. Today is my birthday. I'm 57 years old. I'm doing this video because so much is rising up within my spirit to address, to speak upon, and to share the to share the wisdom of the observations that I am gleaning, harvesting from the seeds that I have been planting for 57 something years unconsciously, but have been consciously aware of the being and the doing of it for, I would say, a good 30 years now. And having reached this point, in this time phase of my birthday, there's a partial solar eclipse going on. Just happened. We're in a new moon. A lot is happening. There's a lot happening cosmically. I'll put it that way. And because of everything that is happening cosmically, what's happening cosmically is we are at a junction, a juncture, a crossroads, a meeting place where a lot of prophecies are being fulfilled. The spiritual conscious awareness of a lot of these prophecies is expanding the individual as well as the collective consciousness, which is like getting the right numbers on a combination lock. We are unlocking different parts of ancient wisdom, generational cosmic wisdom. We're coming back to it in order to raise ourselves out of the darkest, deepest parts, the lower frequencies that we have allowed to saturate and to take over, so to speak. And so now we have to come in and with higher frequencies, higher spiritual frequencies, higher frequency spectrums and vibrations of unconditional love. We have to start cleaning and clearing what has been, the debris. It's almost like the cosmic womb has had her period, okay? And now the womb needs to get ready for a new birth, for a new birth again. That new birth is a new age. We call this new age the age of Aquarius, okay? The age of Aquarius is about the replenishing of the spiritual conscious awareness cosmically. And because it is cosmically, it is not just to an individual. It is not just to a collective. It is not just to the earth plane. It is not just to one season and one cycle. It is existence. itself expanding once again to a higher frequency. Okay? That's how I'm told to say this. Whew. I see why I had to start 3 times. Okay. That was on point. That was great. Okay, let me keep going. From the huts of slaves I rise. And this is speaking about the divine feminine spirit. Just a few of her stories. Huts housed consciousness, limited by a slave's consciousness, bound and shackled to the principles, the ideology, their rhythms their rhythms of conditioning, the rigors of struggle, the heartbreak of unconditional love, the resilience of spirit, the strength and purpose of soul, the light of hope ever burning, unextinguishable, burning during seasons of fierce and mighty storms, the seed of freedom planted with the first fallen tear, merged with the last tear, dropped as the spirit witnesses the rise in her divine frequency. She dons her wings once again, her eyes always on the prize, the rush of the winds beneath the wings as she takes to the unlimited universal skies. She flies heights as she rises from the huts of slaves. Unconditional love is a type of devotion that is beyond nouns, adjectives, or verbs. It is a frequency that is emitted freely, which is most, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading my own writing, which is blah, 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 believing in the giving of it without expectations. Unconditional love is a type of devotion. It is a frequency that is emitted freely in the giving of it without expectations and the believing of it without expectations. Unconditional love is a type of devotion. So, this type of devotion, beloveds, let's look at it for a moment. This type of devotion, if you had to give it a spectrum and a frequency and a vibration, it would be that of a divine mother, a celestial mother, a mother with unlimited patience, a mother with unconditional love, a mother with unlimited wisdom. And this mother is like a lighthouse. She's radiating this beam, these beams. And no matter where you are in the storms and chaos, in your own growth, in your own battles, in your own state of wins and losses, in your own state of expanding unconditional love, unconsciously, subconsciously, and consciously, you are part of that, you are an expression of that unconditional love. That is how you manifested and came into being. The devotional portion comes in the birth, death, and rebirth. The constant reincarnations of bringing your life frequency, not life frequency, bringing your conscious spiritual awareness back to its original state. And we are devoted to that by our very existence. The huts, so to speak, is the physical body. The physical body is the vessel. The physical body is the church. It is a hut first because it houses a limited slave consciousness that is bound and shackled to the principles and ideologies of the rhythms of conditioning that requires the rigors of struggle and the heartbreak of unconditional love. Now, what does all that mean? That means we are surrounded. Our environment is made up of ideas, principles, ways to keep us enslaved. Enslaved to an ideology that we are not unconditional love. That unconditional love is something outside of us, that is separate from us, something that we can never attain. And we can never attain it no matter how perfect we are, no matter how good we are, no matter how much we desire it. And we're taught, so many of us, through ideology, whether that ideology is political or religious or academic. We're taught that there is a hierarchy that we have to live up to. And no matter what we do, we will always be below perfection. We will always be at a place of yearning for more. Why? Because we are not consciously aware of our own spiritual conscious truth, identity. We are all. There is nothing more to gain. There is nothing more to put on. There is nothing more to take. One is not better than another. An ant is not better than a bee. A black human being is not less than a white human being. And those are nouns and adjectives. Human beings are human beings. You're going to differentiate human beings because of the color of their skin? That's self-hate. Self-hate is slavery. We are enslaved by self-hatred. We don't like our bodies. We don't like the shapes. We don't like the size. We don't like the color. We don't like the height. We don't like the weight. We don't like the frame. We don't like our hair. We don't like our eyes. And what do? We create. We make with our hands things that imitate and reflect back to us what we desire. And so, say, for instance, I have a flat butt. And flat butts are not the thing right now. Big round bubble butts are the thing right now. That's a value. And so I'm not happy with the butt I was born with. I self hate. I'm so full of self hate, which is the opposite of unconditional love for myself. That I go and I purchase or I get the services of somebody who is going to surgically or some kind of way enhance my butt to a bubble butt shape. And then I'm supposed to be happy. But in doing that, getting that process and procedure, many have died. Many have become handicapped. Many have become so diseased and so separated from their own nervous system and human body that they have all that, but it feels like nothing. Oh, yeah, to those who like bubble butts, it's beautiful. But to you who've got to carry it around, it's you can't even feel somebody touching it and appreciating it. Same thing with boobies. When you go get those false boobies put on, your sensations and nipples and everything else that came with your regular blood flow and your hormones and your own body chemistry is now changed. All someone sees is the enhancement. You got the enhancement. Why? Because you were not devoted to the unconditional love of of yourself, of your spiritual self, which has no shape, form, color, blah 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 blah. But nobody taught you that. They taught you everything is about appearance. What you look like is how much you're valued, how popular you are, how beautiful you are. It speaks of your worth. It speaks of if you have good breeding, if you have good taste, if you're weird, if you're this or that or that or this or that. Because we don't love ourselves, we don't want to age. Because aging shows that what? We're no longer attractive. We're no longer young. We have depreciated in our value, in our use, based on what? Society? When the wisdom that is stored within you, or that should be stored within you, the amount of self-love that you have, you are ripe. You should be ripe to teach and express the changes and the appreciation that should go into the natural flow of aging. That it is beyond appearance. And everybody is so struck on looks and what something looks like. And this is the enslavement. Because looks are deceiving. Looks are an illusion. Looks, the outside, you can't judge a book by its cover. You don't know what's inside. If the only thing you're basing your judgment upon is the outside. And our tastes are so diverse. To one person, ugh, and to another person, oh my God. But what about you? Self-love is not narcissistic. Self-love is recognizing the divine within yourself and being devoted to that and expressing that divinity in your frequency, in your radiance, in your being, not just in your doing, but in your being. So that when another, even in your own presence, you ain't even got to be with somebody else, even in your own presence, you are at peace. You are at peace with the way you are maturing. You are at peace with the unconditional love that you are, that is unfolding for you to observe. You have those times when you did not love yourself to compare to now when you do love yourself. You are freeing yourself from your slavery. In other words, you are growing your wings. You are that butterfly who is liquefying itself in that cocoon. You are the slave coming out of that hut, rising up out of that hut. That hut was gifted to you by generations before you. Their values, their principles, their ideologies of their own self-worth and what society had said their worth. And it's a new day. It's a new dawn. And it's about you flying over and above what has been into something that you're giving birth to now, that you're ready to give birth to now. What are you ready to give birth to now? You're consciously developing and expanding your own conscious awareness of yourself as unconditional love. That's beauty. That's beautiful. That's peace. That's precious. That's rare. That's the most valuable thing in the world. And when you begin to know yourself in this manner, you identify yourself with spirit, not separate from it, because you realize the beauty of the spirit that is you. That the essence that you represent through your conscious choice and conscious awareness and the choices that you're making. This is true devotion to spirit, to the frequency of unconditional love, not to the false image of idols, of idolatry, not to something made up, not to something, some image. Spirit can't be seen. So if you're looking to behold something physically with your eyes to give you a mental image of what spirit is, you're going to fail. Can't be done. There is no image. There is no image in light or in the dark. There is no image big or small. There is no image big up or down. It is without those boundaries. Get it out of your head. Stop being a slave to that ideology that you can that you can look and see and identify the good and evil of spirit based upon the looks of how it looks, based upon the surface, based upon the outside. Because that outside can hide some of anything. It can lie. Images can lie. Images may show you one thing, but at a different light angle, you see something totally different. The image doesn't change, the lighting changes. Your awareness changes. Constantly. Constantly. You come back 5 years to this freeze frame and you be like, I didn't see that before. It's been there all the time. Your mind's eye didn't focus on it. Something has happened in your conscious awareness so that you've expanded your parameters of what you are able to see. And now you can behold something entirely different. This is the kind of devotion that is necessary. And in this kind of devotion, you get to the point where you're able to tell the truth from the lie, the real from the fake. And you watch everything, you observe everything from the standpoint of unconditional love. Existence exists. Everything exists to contrast, to polarize your vision, to help you discern, to help you realize what you need to realize about unconditional love. This is not just going in circles, beloveds, even though it may sound like that. There's a lot of depth here. There's a lot that is reflected in the times that we're living in right now about the mental slavery, about the physical slavery to not loving ourselves, not accepting ourselves, not saying that, oh, I'm fine just the way I am and I don't have to change, or I don't have to do this, or I don't have to do that. That's not what I'm saying. You're missing the point. What I'm saying is you don't have to go to the extremes to alter your appearance. Thinking that is going to make you happy. That's an illusion. That is a lie. You can go and you can have all the plastic surgery that you want. There's gonna come somebody younger, more natural than you. You're gonna look at them and you're gonna look at you and you're not gonna like it. And you're gonna want to go change this and want to go change that. Want to go change this and you want to. It's a business. Who is in charge of the trends? Who is in charge of what is beautiful? Who gets to make those decisions? Look at their stocks and their portfolios and the boards that they're on. Look at their bank accounts based upon their decisions. How much money is spent in what is the trend for this season? Because it changes every season, every year. From season to season, from woman to one. Oh, blonde hair is in. Oh, no, blonde hair is not in this year. All because you're locked in to that cage of what appearance, outer appearance, should be. And you're spending no time at all on knowing who you are. You're so busy upkeeping that false image. You're so busy supporting the lie of who you are portraying, of the identity that you've been given. Or you're so busy trying to break free of that stereotype. Because you do what? You believe it. If you didn't believe it, you wouldn't support it. And you support it by the focus and the attention that you give to it. Because it demands devotion. That false image demands devotion. And so you cannot serve two masters. You're going to be devoted to that outside of you, or you're going to be devoted to that which is inside, which you are. I won't even say inside. That which is the truth of your existence. But you've got to know it to love it. You've got to have a relationship with it, with yourself, with unconditional love. Meaning you have to believe in unconditional love. You have to know what unconditional love is. Not just the words, but the frequency and the spectrum of it. How it holds you. What you can do to enhance that. How you can go deeper into that relationship. By letting go of the devotion and the focus and the attention that you give to these outside realities, that are constantly being created and need your support, that are constantly coming up with the brands and the branding in order to make money and take you farther and farther away from your spiritual, unconditional love of self. There are so many deep lessons here, beloveds. I'm gonna keep going because I'm just gonna keep going because there's so much here, beloveds. The other part of this was the light of hope, ever burning, unextinguishable, burning during seasons of fierce and mighty storms, the seed of freedom planted with the first tear fallen, merged with the last tear dropped. As the Spirit witnesses the rise in her divine frequency, she dons her wings once again, her eyes always on the prize. What's the prize? Unconditionally loving herself. To unconditionally love yourself, you have to unconditionally know yourself. And you have to know your flaws. You have to know your lies. You have to know your truths. You have to know the highest to the lowest and the in between. past, present, and future. And you have to take responsibility for you. And you have to be devoted to that. And that is I want to use, that is how you worship true divinity. Okay? The divinity within. That is how you worship unconditional love, by identifying that within you. And once you're able to identify that within you, then you're able to identify it in everything else. You know that spirit because you know spirit. And you see spirit in everything, from a rock to a pen to a hat to a plant to an animal to the water to the wind to the trees. You are aware. And you are aware of the consciousness, the spiritual consciousness of each expression, the diversity of each expression, the wisdom of each expression is its own Akashic records, is its own library, is its own wisdom. None greater than the other, but all necessary to expand your conscious awareness and to devote yourself to that kind of love. Being able to be that kind of love, being able to receive that kind of love, being able to give that kind of love. And also, that kind of love shields you from what is lesser. You don't want anything to do with what's lesser than truth. You don't want to support that. You don't want to devote none of your time or energy to that because it's false. If it's false, it's not real, it's a lie. Wherever it's leading is going to be a lie. A lie can only take you to another lie. A lie cannot take you to the truth. Only the truth can take you to the truth. A lie has to constantly defend itself, define itself, and devote itself to itself. I'm going to leave that there. And I'm just going to move on. False images, idols, used must be sacrificed on the altar of self, lies, self-knowledge because of self-hate, mental illness of your spiritual conscious awareness. These are notes, beloveds. False images, false idols. How many different versions of you have you created? Have you given birth to? And when you created them, you loved them. And then you grew out of love with them and you threw them away. You sacrificed them. They're no longer, you throw them away, toss them away like clothes, like old cells in your body when you take a bath and you wash those old cells down the drain. How many yous have you sacrificed because somebody said, oh, that's ugly on you, that don't look good on you, or and so that you isn't good enough, so you got to throw it away and start creating another illusion of what you think you should look like, what your appearance should be. So you're so devoted to the making of these false images that you have no time to observe, the truth. That there is no shape, color, size to define the value of you. That's in your head. But nobody teaches you this because it's not profitable. The more yous that you can create, the different brands, the different versions, the more they sell. And if they're popular, then everybody's going to copy that. And they're going to tweak it and make it into their own image. So your you becomes their you, becomes their you, becomes your you. And then when everybody's tired of that you, it goes all on the altar of to be burnt and sacrificed. And the next you, bring the next you on. How many of our inner children, our inner, that which holds the truth, have we sacrificed for the lie? Do you like this cookie? Yeah, I like this cookie. I don't even like it, but okay, yeah. You just sacrificed your truth for a lie to please somebody else. So you're more devoted to the lie, to their frequency, in their image, in their whatever, than in your own identification of self, your own self-love. You put somebody else's over your own. Somebody else's conscious awareness is always more valuable than yours. Why? Self-love and self-hate. When you are invested and devoted to self-hate, then you're always the last one on the totem pole. You're always the one in want and in lack. You're always the one that isn't good enough. You're always the black sheep, the spotted cow. You're always the one that it's not good enough because there's no self-love. You're devoted to what is outside of you. That means you don't value the spirit that incarnated within you. You see no beauty in it. You don't identify with it. You don't realize your responsibility as it, to devote yourself to knowing it and being it, knowing that it is you. You're so focused, dedicated, devoted, enslaved to a different version, to a false image, to something made up, to delusion, to a lie, to the emperor's clothes, and supporting the emperor's clothes. That you go against your own instinct and intuition. That man ain't got on no clothes. What you mean? That's fire. That's super bad. That's the new. got nothing. Only stupid people can't see it. Oh, oh yeah. Oh, that's dope. Yep. I see. Oh, look at the way that fall and it hit right there and the light catch. Oh, that's super bad right there. Yep. I want something like that. Yep. You done sold your soul for something that you know is a lie. Also, what? Nobody won't think you stupid. What are you more devoted to? To yourself knowing or to their way of knowing? Powers and principalities. The art of war is to take away your what? Identity. It's to wipe it away and replace it with what? A false image. Take away your language. Take away your kinship. Take away your devotion. Take away your your knowing. Your knowing. Take away your knowing so that you can substitute what? The doing, the getting of the image, the attaining of the illusion. 3-card money. You want that Queen of Heart? Come on, come on, come on. There it is. There it is. You know it's there. Put $5. How many? Which one is it? It ain't even laying down there. But you believe your eyes. And you're going to say, this one is this one. Use. The use of use. The sacrifice. The silence of the lambs. The silence of the lambs, indeed. Along with the use, what are you sacrificing? False light, false beauty. Along with the use, what are you sacrificing? False light, false beauty. What are you devoted to? Are you so devoted to the false light and the false beauty that you're not even consciously aware of the truth? Of supporting the truth, of upholding the truth, protecting the truth from those that want to what? Murder it, steal it, rape it, separate it, uproot it, hold it hostage, imprison it, hide it. Listen to the words of what is being done to truth. Understand that your reality is based on the amount of illusion and delusion that you allow to create and reign and run amok so freely. And you have no one to blame for it but you. Because of self-hate, you rather devote yourself to that than to the truth. If you sit up here and deny that, it has to fade away because it has nothing to feed upon. It has no sustenance. It has nothing to sustain it. It has no belief. It has no value because it is a lie. But if you say, well, it could be, or I don't know what to believe, then you're still breathing life into it. You've got it on the respirator now, you know. You got it plugged, it's still plugged. Take the plug out of it, unplug it. Let it pass away. And let the truth take its place. Its rightful place. Satanism, the worship of the lie, the liar as God, becoming like God, flipping the script, mirror illusion. Satanism, the worship of the lie. We spoke of devotion in the beginning. So, as the story goes, Satan, Lucifer, the devil, was created to usher in the frequencies of devotion. The choir. He was a choir director, or the one to usher in spirit. It's the welcome, the spirit, to create the atmosphere and the ambiance in order for the spirit to dwell. He's the one to create the womb, the nest, for the spirit to come in and rest upon. Do you hear these words? The spirit of peace, like a dove. The spirit of unconditional love. Satan, the devil's, Lucifer's, was the light that was created to attract. The devotion to the spirit, to usher that in, to open the doors, open the windows. Only it became so full of self-hate that it was not, that it had to only usher it in, that it wasn't getting any of the devotion while it felt it was the most beautiful. That it became so narcissistic because it did what? It hated itself. And everything about it flips, turns it into a lie. And the lie just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. There's so many stories that teach and tell of the lie, the first lie. How that lie landed because of the desires of the heart, because the observation that had taken place. How could the observation take place if you didn't recognize what was going on? You wouldn't know how to reach that being. You wouldn't know how to seduce that being if you didn't know what they liked, what they wanted, what they craved, what they could truly devote themselves to. And so you had to identify that within you first in order to be able to identify it in another. And to bring that out and magnify it and manifest it. And self-fulfilling prophecy is what are you doing? You're manifesting death. you're manifesting death. You surely will not die. Because the moment that Satan became Satan, what happened? An expiration date was set on its immortality. It morphed into something that could die. It changed itself. Mental illness changes. When you allow yourself to become so separate from the truth of who you are, you will endure all kinds of suffering. You will invite all kinds of lessons. You will endure all forms of pleasure and pain. And you're going to pass those down. You're going to teach that to others until you get to the point where you are devoted to unconditionally loving that spiritual self that has no beginning, has no ending. Till you become one with that, till you marry that, till you devote and commit yourself to that. You truly cannot devote and get into any other relationship and have a true relationship with it. And that is what these 57 years has brought me to. That is where I'm at right now. Is becoming more and more devoted to creating, ushering in sacred space for that spirit within me, because I realize it's the Satan in me that keeps it out. That Satan is self-hate. That Satan is ignorance. That Satan is an energy, is a force, is a negative polarity that wrestles because it does not know. It cannot accept itself as one. Not as beautiful, not as light, not as dark, not as this, not as that, as one. That is the mental illness. That is the fracturing. That is the shattering. That is the illusion. That is the delusion. That is the crime. That is the lie. That is the denial. That is the denial of everything and nothing. You're in contention. You're at war with everything and nothing because you think you're not a part of everything and nothing. You think you're higher than everything and nothing. You want more, more, more. You want your own version, your own spin, your false image of what it should be. You want to devote and worship what should be, what could be, not what is. And because you're spiritual and you're able to operate with universal laws and create these kind of images that have their own frequencies, vibrations, and spectrums, and these worlds that happen And you plant, the more you plant your conscious, the more you plant your conscious awareness into that reality, you are more unconscious to the truth. And that is why the sages and many of the wise ones have said this world is an illusion, that you're asleep. You're in an unconscious state. You're dreaming. It's called Maya. And this state has been perpetrated deliberately for centuries now. And when you wake up to it, you understand those who have been at the root of it. I call them Cain's children. I call them the Romans and the Greeks. But they have existed beyond these civilizations as well. This is just the names that I know of them in this lifetime. And so if I want you to observe them, I can say, see, by pointing out the identities. And for you to see the identities from way back then of their ideology, their principles and powers in play in this age, in this time, in this cycle, in this season, in this generation. You see the Senate, you see the government, you see Rome, the Vatican, its own government, its own everything. You see the Catholic religion, the Roman Catholic religion, being the biggest religious organization that there is. You see more people following that than any other, no matter how many denominations of it, or orthodox or unorthodox, or this or that or that or this or this or that. It's endless because it's not the true self. It's made in the image of. It's a replication. And these replications and these replicators are more devoted to this power. Because what makes power, beloveds? This pay attention right now. What do they say makes power? Knowledge. Knowledge is power. Not knowing. Not what you know. Not what you know. But the getting, the pursuit of knowledge. And the implementing of that knowledge upon other knowledge. This knowledge is superior to that knowledge. This is the new knowledge. This knowledge is built upon, we have the mound builders. We have the architecture. We have the archaeology. We have the arcs. Knowledge is power. So if you want power, then you must acquire what in this world? Knowledge. You must be devoted to the acquiring of knowledge in order to wield the power of the best pimp, the best salesman. And you get your rewards and you get your perks while other people die in the mud, starving, babies being born and sold so they can go work. Takes help the parents out. When you're devoted to this ideology of the knowledge of the pursuit of the knowledge of good and bad, good and evil, you are no longer free to pursue unconditional love, to pursue, how can I say this, not the knowledge of unconditional love, to pursue the reality that you are unconditional love, to observe that because you're too busy observing the getting the knowledge of. And then not only the getting the knowledge of, but the judgment and the lessons of those who are getting the knowledge and who are not getting the knowledge, those who are getting the knowledge used against them, those that are hiding the knowledge, those that are selling these secrets and the crazy circles and situations with no solutions. Because it's what? It's self-hate. It's self-hate. It's self-denial. If you know that all you have to do is be still and observe, not just what you see, but what you feel. And revelations and answers will come to you, come through you. What does that do? That means you begin to do what? You begin to value your space. You begin to value your quiet. You begin to value your peace because it's precious, because what comes from it is precious. It's unconditional love. It's a communication that you have been searching for involuntarily and could never define it. But this is the truth of the relationship that you have been looking for all your life. Beloveds, this is just a continuation of many of the other videos that I've done. And for some reason, I see that it is more of a stepping stone, which means there's something that I'm going to need to come back to in this video. And it could maybe not even be in the words themselves, but in the essence of the message. And the message is self-love. So that is the focus. Devotion to self-love. Right now, with so much going on, my body is in so much pain today that I had to get into the bed the things that I need to do that I have not done. But I got up and I came to do this video. And I'm in my awareness. This is devotion to self-love, Valerie. This is self-care, because in doing this, you are regulating so many states of conscious awareness. You are expanding so many states of conscious awareness. You are giving birth to deeper frequencies. You are anchoring and supporting the truth. Just in being, just in sharing, and just in going that extra, even when you didn't feel like it. Even when you were laying there arguing with yourself, but feeling that you needed to do this, that you needed to get on this and speak because of the things that you wrote in your journal this morning about false images and how many yous you have sacrificed, and looking at how many yous, how many Valeries over my lifetime I have created in the image of what I thought would be acceptable, only to realize that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. You're not it. You're not it. Not you. Not you. Not you. No. 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 You can come. You can go. You can come. You can go. No. 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 And then you get yourself in that box. I can never get it right. And I have learned which eye is looking at that and observing. You're not getting it right. Which eye is looking at you that cannot get it right? And who is telling that eye that you're right or wrong? The knowledge of good and evil is, like I said, it's a mental illness, beloveds. It is truly a mental illness that will take you and try to master you until you say, I am not creating any more yous for that to put on this table, to bring to this table, to sit at this table, to sit around this table. I'm not creating any more yous to keep me company. I'm not starting another relationship with a you that's going to break my heart. I'm going to sit here and devote myself to the truth. And to know that that truth is good enough. The existence of that truth is good enough. I hope this helps whoever it's supposed to help. I hope it reaches whoever it's supposed to reach. I know that it is helping me on so many different levels. And I know that when I sit down and I watch it, observe it, not for the appearance, but for the spiritual content, for the spiritual devotion, for the spiritual frequencies that are going to communicate to me that are going to validate and reflect that image of devotion and unconditional love that I'm learning to recognize, that I'm learning to appreciate, that I'm maturing into. And it's a beautiful thing, beloveds. It's a truly beautiful thing. And as I look at what's going on in the world, I realize it's all related. Nothing is separated from my growth, my devotion to myself, my acknowledgement of myself as that I am is what is unfolding everywhere. Everything is exposing itself as a lie and the lies that it's been built upon. And those are the old bones, the old dry bones coming up. I believe that's in Ezekiel. That just came. There are many resurrections taking place. Understand what is meant by resurrecting. Understand the resurrection spoken of in Revelations and the signs of the times of what you see arising out of ancient earth, out of ancient mythologies, ancient truths arising. They're rising to overtake. They're going to go to war with the lies. The war is between the power and the principalities. So the war is between the truth and the lie. What are you devoted to? The truth or the lie? What do you support? The truth or the lie? What frequency nourishes you the most? What do you cling to? What do you identify as? Do you realize the truth as the true image? Or do you cling to the false image? Made in the image. What are you devoted to? What relationship are you committed to? Do you know what unconditional love is? Do you know what it requires? It requires commitment. It requires loyalty. It requires devotion. It requires truth. And it requires you believing in it. Because what you don't believe in, you're not going to support. You're not going to be true to. You're not going to be devoted to. You're not going to be committed to. Your relationship ain't nothing. It ain't worth nothing if you're not connected intimately through unconditional love. Because unconditional love identifies itself as itself. And just like you ain't gonna do nothing to harm yourself, you ain't gonna harm another that you're in relationship with. Because that other relationship, you're in a relationship with yourself. This is expanding conscious awareness. This is an expression of truth, of spirit, just as you are. Whether that spirit is mature, immature, the degrees, the diversity of that is yet to be explored. That is the contrast that's necessary. That is what gives existence its richness. But you must identify. You must have that relationship, that intimate relationship. And you must value you enough to not keep putting you on the altar. That's no, I'm not putting, no, no more yous go on that altar to be sacrificed to the false identity, to those who are up on the pedestal saying I'm here to collect your you tax. Come on, gimme. You serve the false image. I'm here to collect the you. You owe you tax. You know you gotta give it. Give it up. Come on, how many more yous you got to keep up with the Joneses now. Come on. How much more of yourself? Come on, you're not giving enough. I know there's more of you. You're not trying hard enough. Okay, beloveds, that is going to do it for me. This has been a bit of a happy birthday rant. It's been a communication of how I'm feeling and how I'm knowing myself in all the ups and down moments. And it's only the 5th month of this year. That number 5, beloveds, I'm telling you, it is so powerful. It just keeps coming up. It just keeps coming up. 5th month, 5th world. It just keeps coming up. That number 5 is so powerful right now. And we're in the frequency of the 5th month. May is the 5th month in the Gregorian calendar. And so, like I said, this month has an emerald ray. That is the heart. That is the green. That is in the green. That is the growing. That is the spring. That is the budding. That is the breaking up, the seeding, breaking up. And so it is the waking up time, is what I'm being told. It is the waking up time. That's what Spirit wants to say, that it is the waking up time. It is the waking up time for self-love. It is the waking up time to devotion of yourself. It is the waking up time, beloveds. So, as you bear witness and observe all the lies, no. As you bear witness to all the truths rising, understand that the truths are going to overcome the lies, and the lies will be no more. That is what you're bearing witness to. This is very prophetic, beloveds. I don't know how to get this thing right, but this is very prophetic, beloveds. That truth is overcoming the lie. And in order for that to happen, you have to be able to identify what the truth is. Finally, 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 finally know what the truth is. Finally break that false mirror of illusion. Finally get rid of all that smoke and let it clear out to see clearly what the truth is and to identify truthfully and clearly, to devote yourself to that truth and to the rebuilding of that truth as a foundation, as a new foundation for a new world, a new temple, a new age, a new cycle, and a new season. Whoa. Okay. That's gonna do it, beloveds. That's gonna do it. And so it is what it is, beloveds. And I hope you grasp what's here for you. I'm sure it kind of seems kind of because it feels that way for me. But in every transmission, in every download, in every sharing, I know that a connection is taking place. And through that connection, frequencies are being exchanged. And in the exchange, conscious awareness is expanding. So some call it mental sex, mental orgasms, mental whatever. But understand that spirit to spirit, when we say namaste, becoming one, understand what that means. Understand the truth of what you're saying. It's not just words. Understand the energy and the frequency that you're speaking into existence. And if you're real, you're connected to those words when you say them. It's not just something cute you're trying to say, or it's not just an image that you're, portraying. It's not a false image. It's something real. It has real value. It's rooted in truth for you. And those who can feel it, oh, they feel it. It's real. They feel it like a hug. Like, I know when, and I'm gonna get off of here in a second, beloveds. I know when I connect to spiritual beings who are capable of unconditional love. Oh, baby. There is nothing like that connection. And it's pleasurable. And it's validating the spirit within you and your awareness of what the truth of unconditional love really is. When you come across someone spiritually and that is extended to you, and you recognize it and you extend it back, and it's like, oh, it's like the best hug in the world. And it doesn't have to be physical. It can happen virtually. It happens with me in things that I read. It happens with pictures. It happens with words. It happens with me. You see my sides, with food, with smells, with flavors. Everything, because spirit is one, beloveds. Spirit is one. And when you connect on the spiritual level, there's an unconditional love. There's a recognition of spirit. And that is why you're grateful. That is why you say grace. That is why you say thank you for what you receive. That is why you show gratitude. What are you showing gratitude for? For the unconditional love. Have you ever asked what frequency you are thankful for receiving? Or that you are consciously aware of receiving? Get out of the false images and start looking at the truth. And become more connected with it, become more one with it. That is true power. And it's something that you came here knowing. You incarnated with. No one had to teach you. And no one can take it away from you. Okay, beloveds. Namaste. Thank you. I love you.